Welcome back to Rivals of the East post-game show week numero 6, Sean. Wow, what a tough battle it was for the New England Patriots against the Cleveland Browns. And you guys pulled out a victory, which was, pretty much what we had called, but I think it was a little bit more dominant than I thought.
I will say I expected it to be 7-10 point game. It was more than that, and even in the way they did it, you know, I expected a healthier dose of Ramondre Stevenson, but without it being omitted, he had to have a 41-yard run for a touchdown. But outside of that, do you hear that? Oh my God, it's Bailey Zappi. Is he coming for Mac's job?
Oh my God. Will
That's
you
what we're
stop?
hearing in the Patriot rumors. But personally, I'm
Oh,
not one of those
stop.
guys. I'm not one of those guys. It's honestly, it's all over Patriots media. It's all on the radio in New England. Um, I'm not in the believer of that. I still believe in Mac. Mac handles more. We haven't seen him outside of the Ravens game. Have that offense kind of meshing, the playbook kind of open up. Maybe it's the offense just in general meshing and Patricia getting the hang of the play calling. So I'm not in the believer that we should just, kick Mac to the curb. He's a first round draft pick. There's a reason he did that. And I think he needs to be out there and play. But what a great job by Zappi. What is it? Had 10 incompletions. What was it? 33 for 23.
It was 24 for
311 yards.
34,
Thank
309
you.
yards, 2 touchdowns. He had, I think, a 118.4 rating. So,
Yeah, I was one pass off. So, but yeah, he did it in some fashion outside of the Hunter Henry pass that was wide open because the defense got caught sleeping when they did. What is that called? Play action. Pretty sure I've been calling for that. Pretty sure I've been calling for the tight ends to get put in. Guess what happened? They both got 41 yards. Even that bum Jonnu Smith broke off a pretty good run. We saw some Devontae Parker, amazing catches. Everyone contributed. Not crazy receiving games, but everyone contributed. It was real nice to see Zappy spread the ball around, give a little bit of love. Defense, just nightmares. Just giving nightmares to the Cleveland offense. Poor Brisket looked cooked out there, turning the ball over more than once. But yeah, it was real nice to see the Patriots are starting to mesh and they're starting to get on a roll. But, maybe they'll take advantage of this easy stretch of games they have up in front of them. But I still don't think offensively they're different until they continue to prove me otherwise.
how dare you call the Bears easy, Sean?
They do it to themselves.
Who are you to
It's
doubt Justin Fields?
when a quarterback has 11 attempts and loses a game because guess what? They needed him to pass and he didn't pass because they don't trust him. That is a bad offense. Yes, that's exactly what that is. Montgomery cannot catch it, pass it, and throw it. Who said that?
Maybe.
Giselle? Yeah, Giselle. Whoever
Yeah.
the hell that is, but that witch.
Well, I guess I know what team you're on, and it's Team Tom. Well,
Team Tom.
you know, Sean, Patriots did win 38-15. I go back and I watch some of that game after the fact. I don't think fumbling multiple times on punt returns and
Two muff
kickoffs.
punts, correct. Yeah.
I don't think that's going to help you, especially when Bill hates Cleveland with a burning passion. I, running it up as much as they can in that situation, 38-15. I want to say I thought Bailey Zappi looked really solid. I think he's a fantastic backup quarterback. I think he's
Thank you.
developing nicely. I too would like to see what Mac Jones could develop and do in that offense in this situation because we know what Zappy can do 300
Yeah.
yard games, accurate, gets the ball where it needs to go. But that's kind of the New England mantra, right? Do your job. So everybody
Correct.
does their part, everybody does their
What's
job.
implied is do it well.
Well, don't don't tell that to Cam. But I would say at the end of the day, dude, New England is 3-3 right now. What the hell happened? Because I'm watching the Dolphins play, and we are officially at 3-3. We are 500. We went from 3-0 to 0-3 in the last 3 weeks. Now, I understand that people will say injuries. Yes, injuries are a part of the NFL. We were talking literally about Bailey Zappi.
What about team building? What about depth?
Now, I listen. You could go back to our previous episodes when Sean and I were talking about preseason and roster building. And what did I say? I said this team does not have depth. It's a
Yes, you did.
it's a game of attrition, and you have to have depth. Instead, we opted for the big splashes. An injury-prone left tackle, Teron Armstead, who was out for the Vikings game, by the way, and
Manto himself. Yes.
toe Ron Armstead. And then we have Tua, who was, of course, we know the national media was all over the concussion stuff that had been going on. The protocols changed because of it, all this other stuff, which also costed us Teddy Bridgewater being out to start the Vikings game. So Skylar Thompson, who's our 7th round draft pick that we had from this past draft, who I like. I thought he was good as a 7th round draft pick. Obviously, he's not a franchise guy, but could develop to a good competent backup, similar to maybe a Zappy or something. But we're down all of these injuries at the offensive line. Byron Jones is out. We just lost in the Vikings game too. Nick Needham tore his Achilles, so he's out for the year. Since we have so many cornerbacks. We have X came back for the Vikings game. He played very, very well. We have who else do we have? Keon Crossan played at corner. We're down Cater Kohu. Nick Needham's out for the year. Alexander, who we signed in the offseason, is out for the year. Trill Williams was out for the year. We're just depleted, absolutely depleted. We're looking at practice squad players right now. But Sean, I have been saying this for a long time, and I don't care if people agree with me or not. Fire Chris Greer. Fire him. Get rid of him. He's been there 23 years. He stinks. He sucks as a general manager. If you want to defend Chris Greer, then you can defend mediocrity. He's a horrible, terrible manager. He sucks. Fire him. You know what? Chris Greer, you suck ass. And I can't stand it. We've had how many? I can see Dolphins fans. I'm going to be done with my rant here soon. But I see Dolphin fans sitting there saying, well, what if Chris Greer goes out and finds another offensive lineman? You dumb son of a bitch. He hasn't found an offensive lineman except for 2 times in 23 years. Is Laremy Tunsil on this team?
Oh yeah,
No.
that's right. No,
No, he's not. Oh,
he's in the
could
New
we
England of the South.
could we really use a left tackle? Yeah. Instead, we have a 31 going on 32-year-old Teron Armstead who, listen, when he's healthy in a dome, he's looked great. He has not looked good in Miami, in the heat, in that humidity, outside. Obviously, it does something to his toes. I don't know if you've ever seen Courage the Cowardly Dog, but there's an episode where Eustace has a toe that takes over his whole body. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's going to tell him to hold up Florida and take it under
That
a heist.
humidity, man, it grows some stuff under your nails. I guess that would. I've been struck with the malady many years ago, and I asked for the foot to come off, but I digress. They couldn't.
I'm just tired of people saying that we're playoff bound. How are you going to get to the playoffs when you're so damn top heavy? And if one guy
Playoffs,
goes, yeah, Jim Morris said it best. Playoffs? Yeah,
playoffs.
I look at this team. We have an injury. Listen, Tua is injury prone. That is a fact. Every single year he's ever played since high school, he has been hurt. Every single year.
Now I want to cut in on that. There's a difference between football players for the amount of time they play and the amount of time they have in between games and practices. You're always going to get hurt. There is not a single player that plays that is
True.
not hurt. There's a difference between being hurt and not being able to play. That is what Tua is.
And I don't want to sit there and harp on him because I just know he went through something scary that was very, very tough. And I hope he's okay. He's not going to be okay behind this line. He's going to start against Pittsburgh, which, by the way, Pitt Rick will be joining us for our next show. But I look at this team and I say, you're going to put this guy who had, that's right, 2 concussions in 4 days, and national media jumps on it and he goes to the hospital, and I can't, people say, oh, he's perfectly fine now. Yeah, we'll see how perfectly fine he is when Cameron Hayward is falling down on top of him at 350 pounds. You know what I mean? He's 24. He's a person. And I don't want to hear anymore about people saying that we have a complete team. We don't. We have Tyreek Hill, and that's it. Xavier Howard is getting hurt because he's getting older. I love X. He's one of my all-time favorite Dolphins players in history, but he's getting older. In that corner, that's not good. Nick Needham ain't
What
ever going to
about
be the same.
Waddle?
Jalen Waddle, of course, he's a great player, but he's still developing. This is his second year. And Waddle has had a little bit of an injury bug. Whether people want to say it or not, he's had a hamstring issue on and off again since the preseason. That's why he's been so limited in practices. You go back to the last few weeks, it's not that Teddy Two Gloves didn't get him the ball, or it's not like Skylar Thompson couldn't throw him the ball. He's just there for a distraction half the time, and they keep feeding Tyreek Hill. That's what's going on there. We can't run the ball. We have an injury-prone running back in Raheem Mostert, which is why they won't give him the workload that people say, why can't he run more? Because if he runs more, his knees will explode.
It, you know, you talking about the Waddle thing, that just got me onto something. Something about tight ends drives me insane. Now, when we're talking about Miami, that also kind of pisses me off is when you have a tight end like Mike Gesicki, he's in a contract year, and you're not playing him because guess what? You put him on the franchise tag. Why'd you put him on the franchise tag to block? He's not a blocking tight end. He's not being used right. And you know what? If you had more than a left tackle that you threw all that money at, maybe you could have someone else tackle. Isn't your other tight end a better blocker than him?
I'm gonna say this right now. By trade deadline, Mike Gesicki will be a Green Bay Packer.
Him and Robert Tunyon, they'll be a duo.
Yes, Mike Gesicki. You want to know why I say Green Bay? Because Rodgers needs an experienced guy. He's built like a wide receiver. He can play slot. He can play tight end. He's more of a slot guy than a tight end, but he could do both. He can't block. That's not a problem. Nobody can block in Green Bay.
Why does it take a backup quarterback to finally throw a pass to Mike Gesicki? Why
Twice.
is that in the play calling? Where is that when Tua needs that?
Listen, I want to just say this, and I'm done ranting. We don't have depth. This team should have done more to invest in the offensive line in the preseason, in the offseason, I should say. We should have done more to address these issues at depth because I'm just gonna tell you right now, this team is not built to compete late in the year. That's just a fact. When we're sitting tied for third in the division with New England in the Jets, Gang Green, Zach Wilson. I mean, has he even thrown for a touchdown in the last couple games?
He wasn't even over 100 yards early into the third quarter.
Yeah, they're winning games. And you know why? Because they've got players all over the place. They have some depth. They've got rookies. Sauce Gardner is hands down top 3 corner in the league right now.
I hate that was my draft guy. I said hands down. I don't care what anyone said. Sauce Gardner was the guy, and they did the no brainer. They took Sauce Gardner. They took Teddy out of the game.
Yeah, dude, first hit, and it's clean hit, but we got a lot to think about here. It's not sunshine and rainbows because Tua's coming back against the Steelers. I'm worried. I am worried because this line sucks. It's shit. We can't expect a guy to come in. Well, he's got timing and a quick release. He still got killed in Cincinnati.
And here's the thing. I don't want to hear that either because in the aspect that if you just take, for instance, I don't know if you heard about a quarterback called Tom Brady, one of the quickest snapping to throwing quarterbacks in the NFL. He's got Tristan Wirfs at tackle. That didn't save him against the Steelers.
No, it did not.
The Steelers are starting to look like a scary team with that defense. I don't know if it took them time to mesh. I don't know if it took some injuries to go away, but I watched that game through and through, and Tom Brady was having fits.
Listen,
I don't know about Miami. I think the Bucs are a better team. I'm just going to say that.
Bucs are a better team. Bucs are a better team overall. I'll run some quick stats. Bridgewater finished 329, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 5 sacks. Skylar Thompson, 7 of 13, 89 yards. He hit his thumb on a Vikings player's helmet, which, listen, that's not on the offensive line. Stop saying it. It's a freak accident. It happens all the time when it does happen. Let me rephrase that. It happens in the game of football, regardless of if you have a good offensive line or not. Freak things do happen. 7 to 13, 89 yards. He had to get out of the game. Stitches in his thumb. He was done. Sean's fantasy quarterback, who really won on this week, 20 of 30. Kirk Cousins, a buck 75, 2 touchdowns. Here's our illustrious run game. Raheem Mostert, 14 carries, 49 yards. Our
It's
next
impressive
highest,
stuff.
our next highest rusher, Teddy Bridgewater, a carry for 10 yards. Yeah.
Hey, call me crazy. Might be one-dimensional.
Well, Tyreek Hill, you don't say, Sean. Tyreek Hill had 12 catches for 177 yards, and Jalen Waddle, 6 catches, a buck 29. Neither guy found the end zone. Instead, it was Mike Gesicki, 6 catches, 69 yards, 2
Who's
touchdowns.
that guy?
Yeah.
Who's...
But 6 sacks. And here's the other thing I want to say, too. This is possibly the most undisciplined team I've ever seen the Dolphins. We've had a drive in the first quarter, going into the second quarter, I believe it was. Skylar Thompson is moving the ball. He's extending plays. He makes a good run, gets us down near midfield. We have, and I kid you not, we gain 48 yards of offense. We lose 44 yards due to penalties, 5 plays in a row. We committed the most penalties in a single drive in the NFL all season long. The previous record was 3. We did 5. Illegal receiver downfield, holding. Offensive pass interference on a fullback. That's the first time I've ever heard of that.
Hey, I remember McDaniel saying fullback.
Yeah, so
integral part of the game.
So we get knocked out of field goal range. And Jason Sanders, he's 50-50. He makes a 44-yard kick, misses, or he makes the 52-yarder. Either way, he made a kick. One was 44, one was 52, and he missed one. So our special teams is not good. We're not disciplined. The defense, I know I took a dump on Josh Boyer the last episode that we had, and rightfully so. He did a decent job this time. He did a very good job, I thought, in scheming and trying to contain Dalvin Cook. The only problem with that is you can't do that for 4 quarters. Dalvin Cook got the ball back. They were up 16-10. And what do? They break off it was a 53-yard run. Dalvin Cook breaks off as soon as he get the ball after Jalen Waddle fumbles, trying to make a play after he catches the ball. And that's up 24-10. Which, by the way, I want to question Mike McDaniel on this call. You're down 24-10, you get a touchdown. He tries to go for 2. We don't get it. So then we have to onside kick, which we don't get, obviously. But Sean, analytics, okay? Analytics. If we're thinking about this, why wouldn't you just kick the extra point to be down 1 score? And then that gives you the option when you score again to go for 2 to win, or just kick the field goal and tie. Because now, if you don't get it, now you have to get the 2 to tie.
Now, the reason why obviously the result is what created a different situation. It's kind of the same thing Josh McDaniels did, which everyone in the world questioned.
How's he doing, by the way?
Chiefs. Yeah, with the Chiefs, they questioned that as well. A lot of teams are doing this thing where instead of doing it when you have to, because if you don't put yourself in a situation where you get the 2-pointer to either win the game or to tie it, you should just do that when you need to do it and not do it early and then go, well, now I'm trailing more points, so now I need the ball yet again. Teams are trying to do it early, and if they don't get it, I guess they're trying to figure they're saving timeouts by doing that. I'm not sure. It doesn't make sense. You do it when you need to do it. That's how it works. Don't be cute. Yeah. Try to outsmart the other team.
Just kick the extra point. Kick the extra point. Be down 24-17. Because, listen, I have said in the beginning, not Josh McDaniel, sorry. Mike McDaniel, yes. Mike McDaniel is a very first-time play caller ever in his career. And he has to learn how to be a head coach. And there's enormous pressure in Miami because, I don't know if you know, we had back-to-back winning seasons where we're out of the playoffs one game each season. We enhanced the roster with a guy like Tyreek Hill, a superstar. We have other great players like Jalen Waddle on this team. We make another big splash signing. There's a lot of talent, top heavy, but there's a lot of talent. Why can't we do better? Well, there's issues. We weren't built for depth, and we have a very inexperienced head coach. And what you're seeing in some of these game day situations, and it's gone through 6 weeks now, is Mike McDaniel is learning on the job. And so when it comes to that learning on the job, there's going to be hiccups and road bumps. Now, can he be a good coach? Of course. Anybody can be a good coach if they really put the effort in and they actually try. Will he be a great coach? I don't know. Will this season fall apart? Maybe. Will it bounce back and we do make the playoffs? It's possible. AFC is full of a lot of parity teams right now. But what I will tell you is being 3-3 and tied with 7 other teams in the AFC, all of whom like half of them are going to easier schedules and playing that bottom tier, that's not very good. That's not good at all because if anybody gets hot right now, the Jets are the 5th seeded team. We're position 9. We're 9th. So we are 2 out from wild card, bottom wild card. The Colts are number 7. The Colts right now currently hold the last wild card place. So listen, I'm not going to be a negative person. I'm just being a realist about. Listen, tamper expectations. Hope that Tua survives this Pittsburgh game. If he could come out and light it up and get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 yards, who knows? But what I will say is that this Steelers defense, and Brian Flores, of course, is over there. So, he's going to want to make a statement. This defense is going to be nasty. They shut down Chris Godwin. They shut down Mike Evans. They shut down very, very good players. They frustrated arguably the greatest, well, not arguably, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. I mean, they are generating pressure. They were shutting people down. It's going to be a very difficult challenge. And going up against a guy like Mike Tomlin, who is also very experienced. I looked at this game as first time head coaches in the Vikings game, and we came out on the losing end. We had a lot of injuries. You could chalk it up to that. I just don't like some of the trends that I'm seeing right now. And hopefully they get addressed as we go forward because if not, it's not going to bode well. Maybe we'll have a new ping pong table, though, by next week. We'll find out. Sean, what are your final thoughts, though, on the Patriots Browns? What do you see as far as when we do come into the next week? Is Mac going to play? Is it Zappy time? What's going to happen?
I think it puts pressure on Mac Jones as an individual because when you see another quarterback go out there and kind of light it up and you go, hey, that's my offense, that's my team, probably makes him a little more eager. Mac's already kind of one of those guys that he'd hobble out there and try to pass if he could, but obviously the coach isn't going to let him because you
Player
got to do
safety?
things. Well, not just that. You got to do things that's best interest of the team. I think I've heard that like 2 million times. I don't know, brain aneurysm, who knows? Anyhow, you also have the flip side where the coach is going, hey, maybe I'm not feeling as pressured into having to start Mac Jones because we're doing just fine the way we are. So I think if they're going to want Mac Jones out there 100%. Mac Jones is going to want to be out there at 70, 80%.
Yeah.
So it's going to be real interesting to see this. Bill already has said, specifically with injuries in general, let alone with Mac Jones, it's going to be day to day. And he wants to make sure that not only do the medical staff pass him, but he has to pass the eye test for Bill Belichick. And I agree because some of those original videos 2 weeks ago that were coming out with Mac Jones, and they said, oh, he's trying. And I went, well, trying and doing are 2 different things. He was hobbling out there on one leg. If it means the guy's sitting out another 2 weeks, I say do that. And you know what? I think he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks.
2 more weeks?
Yeah. It's going
Fair
to make
enough.
a real interesting quarterback situation here. That's what I think. And I
Especially if
think
you
it
guys
makes
win the
your
next 2 weeks.
backup quarterback potentially very valuable.
Bill's probably drinking his OJ right now with his binoculars. Well, I mean, anything's possible. Robbie Anderson is now a Cardinal, so it's a fire sale. And Carolina, of course, I don't think anybody's touching CMC because multiple
CMC,
first round.
and then he goes out there and then has over 100 points of offense in the first half, like I thought.
Who's best team in the NFL, Sean?
Best team in the NFL? Dare I say the Eagles? The
I'm gonna say,
Eagles.
I'm gonna say Bills. I don't want to
I'm gonna
say
say it.
Bills, but I have to say the Bills.
I want to say the Eagles.
Uh,
I almost said something that was really scary. I almost uttered the words out of my mouth.
Broncos?
You know a team I'd be scared of to play? The Giants.
The Giants?
The Giants.
Wow. Are they making the playoffs?
Yeah, 100%.
Are they winning a playoff game?
That that's why they're one of those teams you just don't know what you're going to get. You see the success Dable's having over there early. The offense looks turned around with the same players that have been there, so that's even more crazy to me.
Saquon
But
looks good.
defensively, they're even putting it together. You expect nothing, and then you get something from them, which usually doesn't bode well for their playoffs. But hey, it didn't when they were 8-8, and they went on and beat a perfect season team called the Patriots. But that happened. So yeah, that's my underdog story. That's my comeback team of the year award. I think the Giants are doing a great job over there, and I expect nothing less out of a Patriots ex coordinator.
And I would expect nothing less than you to drop a fact like Justin Tucker got a Subway sandwich commercial deal from that Super Bowl of ending Tom Brady's perfect season. Just to let you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. How many Super Bowls did he win after that?
What did he win? 2011?
Yeah, they had one. One.
Yeah, they did it again. They did a repeat against New England.
Justin Tucker. No, I'm talking about a Super Bowl. I'm not talking about that. Nice try, though.
Anyways, we'll be back later this week, everybody. We're going to have our Week 7 preview show, as we usually do, available wherever podcasts are. Pit Rick will be joining us for his Terrible Towel Insight, joining us, hopefully wearing his Mitch Trubisky jersey, as all Steelers fans are after this ecstatic week of beating Thomas Brady in Tampa there in Champa Bay. Other than that, Sean, you got anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I'm just excited for some quarterback controversy for once in my life.
It's Jimmy G, Tom Brady all over again.
It might be a little better.
Great value version. Anyways, all right, folks, take care. We'll catch you on the flip side. Adios.